everybody, and welcome to my little marble and rose gold kitchen, because today I'm going to show you what I eat in a day. And with spring here and summer right around the corner, I thought we can all use some healthy food inspiration. Now, I quickly want to say I am by no means a dietitian. This is just stuff that I eat that really helps me feel fit and strong. Also, I'm vegetarian, almost 5 years and running. So all the meals mentioned are going to be vegetarian, and most of them are also going to be super easy to make vegan. Also, if you would like to see a written recipe or like grocery list, PDF type of printable with all these recipes, definitely check out my blog, because I have a free downloadable printable with all the recipes there, so it's like a little bit easier when you're cooking. And yeah, I think that is it. It is time to get started with all the different food and recipes, and I'm super excited. And if you're too, please give it a thumbs up. Whenever I wake up, the very first thing that I do is hydrate my body. I find it really hard to drink enough water because I always find it kind of plain and boring. Instead, I like to add a little oomph to my water, and this time I decided to create kind of this custom herbal tea. I added 1 slice of lemon, as well as these dried white lily leaves. Not only is it delicious, it's also great for your skin, it's good for your digestive health, and it also can improve your mood. And obviously, being called Lily, I feel extra cool and extra fancy drinking white lily tea. I add some hot water to a teapot and then brew this for 10 minutes. And while I'm drinking this, I usually like to unwind a little, start my morning relaxed by reading a book. So most days I actually do intermittent fasting, which means that I eat between 12 and 8 p.m. So right before 12, I start making my breakfast, which always includes coffee. And the coffee that I've been obsessed with recently is called Nguyen Coffee Supply, and they're also kindly sponsoring this video. So the reason why I'm so excited about this coffee is not only for the taste, but also its history. So this is the first specialty Vietnamese coffee company that is importing directly from Vietnam and roasting it in Brooklyn, New York. And this coffee brand is founded by Sarah, and she's a first-generation Vietnamese American woman and daughter of refugees. So it's really inspiring to read her story and support such a great brand. They offer 3 varieties of coffee that range from sweet and fruity to more bold and strong Robusta beans. And my favorite is the Moxie flavor. And aside from the coffee beans, the way that you brew this coffee is also quite different, because it comes with a Phin coffee filter, which is an authentic Vietnamese way to brew your coffee, as well as producing less waste because it doesn't require any paper filters. You can get the Phin filter by purchasing their bundles. If you want to level up your coffee game and you want to get to know more about the Nguyen Coffee Supply, definitely check out my description box, because you can get 10% off using my link and the code LilyLikeCom 10. So how I create my coffee in the morning is that I first brew my coffee using the Phin filter, and then I foam my milk using my Smeg milk frother. Recently, I discovered pistachio milk, and it's honestly so good because it creates the thickest, fluffiest foam ever. So then I add some ice cubes to my coffee, because recently I've been more into iced coffee because it's getting quite hot in LA again. And then I add 1 cup of Monin syrup, and this time I decided to go for roasted hazelnut, and then I top it off with all the foam. Now that we finished making coffee, it is time for breakfast, and I'm going to make this delicious pitaya or dragon fruit bowl. I know that acai bowls are super popular, but pitaya bowls are even better in my opinion, and I'm going to show you how I create this one. I start off with using some frozen pitaya. Dragon fruit or pitaya is my favorite fruit ever, and I start off with using some frozen pitaya as well as cranberries, and also a big spoon of almond butter and some oat milk, and I mix it in the blender. The reason why I add cranberries is because recently, as most of you probably know, I've been struggling a lot with UTIs, so I just decided to make sure that I'm eating cranberries as often as I can, so at least a few times a week, to make sure that my bladder health stays in check. Once everything is nicely blended, you get this beautiful smoothie bowl texture. and I add it to this really cute coconut bowl and then finish it off with different toppings. To make the perfect smoothie bowl, your texture should be quite thick. Not too thick, but also definitely not runny. Otherwise, you won't be able to put any toppings on it, which is the fun part. For toppings and decorating my smoothie bowl, I kind of go with the flow and I just see what my fridge has. And today I decided to go for some blackberries, raspberries, chia seeds, coconut flakes, and honey. You can add agave syrup if you want to keep it vegan. That is it for breakfast. Not only is this pitaya bowl super yummy, it is also such a colorful mood booster at the beginning of your day. So I love starting my breakfast like this. Now it is time for lunch, and today for lunch I'm making one of my favorite salads that is honestly so ridiculously easy. I've tried so many different salads in the past, but I've realized that I actually really like my salads to be as simple as possible. So that is why I'm making a twist on a very classic Greek salad. For my salad base, I start off with arugula, but you can also use spinach or kale. Then I cut up a bunch of cherry tomatoes and cucumber. You can also add onion, which is traditionally what would be added to this Greek salad, but I personally don't like onions, so I skipped it. Instead, to make it a little bit more interesting, I added some mashed artichoke as well as Kalamata olives. And last but not least, the final ingredient is feta cheese. Now obviously this is not vegan, but I have also tried vegan feta cheese, or you can also add some hummus. That would be great as well. For toppings, I finish it off with extra virgin olive oil as well as pine nuts. I also add oregano and dried basil, as well as salt and pepper. It's honestly such a quick and easy salad to make, but sometimes the most simple recipes are the best. Last but not least for dinner, I'm going to share with you my all-time favorite recipe. This is going to be a pasta funghi recipe with whole wheat fusilli. The recipe that I'm using today is vegan, but you can also make it vegetarian if you prefer real cheese. This is my favorite pasta recipe, and whenever I am craving an amazing pasta or whenever I'm trying to impress somebody, this is the pasta that I like to make. I start off with boiling the water, and I'm actually making about 3 to 4 portions this time. And then I rinse and cut up the mushrooms. You can use whatever mushrooms you prefer. This time I could only find brown and white champignons, but this is also really good with shiitake, with canterelles, or porcini. Whatever you have available, you can use. What I would recommend though is to use quite a bit of mushrooms. I actually use 2 or sometimes even 2.5 boxes of mushrooms because they tend to lose a lot of water when you cook them. So once I've sliced all the mushrooms, I put the skillet on high heat and add some olive oil, and then I add all the mushrooms. And the reason why I like to use high heat is because I noticed that the mushrooms become a little bit more crispy and not as slimy, if that makes sense. After the mushrooms are pretty much done, I begin creating the sauce. And how I do this is that I use some vegan Parmesan cheese. You can also obviously use Parmigiano Reggiano. I also really like pecorino. I also add 1 to 2 tablespoons of vegan butter, but you can also use real butter or creme fraiche. I really like to make it with creme fraiche as well. It's then going to be a little bit more creamy and heavy, so it kind of depends on what you're in the mood for, but I personally like a little bit of a lighter sauce. And I also add 1 tablespoon of truffle oil to make it extra truffly. Then I add the pasta to the boiling water, and I'm using whole wheat fusilli because I feel like this recipe is even better when you use whole wheat, and it also makes it a little bit more healthy. But you can also use regular pasta or a lentil or chickpeas based pasta as well, whatever you prefer. After the pasta is cooked al dente, I grab 1 cup of the pasta water and I put this pasta water aside. I then drain the pasta and put it back in the skillet together with the cup of pasta water. It's really important to cook your pasta al dente because it's going to continue cooking with the heat of the skillet. The pasta water, mushrooms, vegan parmesan and truffle oil are really going to emulsify, and they're going to create the most delicious sauce that is not too heavy, not too creamy, but still really, really good. I keep it on the fire for about 1 to 2 minutes until I'm satisfied with the sauce, and if it's too thin, I like to add some extra cheese, and if it's too thick, I also like to add some extra pasta water. And then once everything is looking good, it is time to serve, and I like to serve it with some extra Parmesan cheese, pine nuts, and arugula. And I would also really recommend eating this the next day as a pasta salad combined with arugula. That's like one of my favorite lunches. And with that being said, it is time to eat. If you're going to try any of these recipes, definitely try out this one because it is so simple and so good. It's also delicious with some mushroom ravioli or truffle ravioli. And yeah, I would just highly recommend this one. So with that being said, it is time to go. So my lovely online friends, it is the end of our cooking day, and I really hope you enjoyed seeing what I eat in a day. Again, this is just what I eat in a day. If you eat more or less, you know, that's totally fine. I'm not trying to preach anything. I'm just sharing what I like, and I love these recipes, especially the mushroom pasta recipe. It's not the healthiest, but the whole wheat pasta makes it a little bit healthier, and it's just so good. It's like my #1 favorite pasta recipe that I always make when I have to impress somebody. And yeah, if you want to read all these recipes, definitely check out my blog, as I mentioned before, because I have all the info there. And if you don't want to miss any of my future videos, it would be amazing if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. The subscribe button is right there. Also, if you want to keep up to date with me, follow me on my Instagram. My Instagram username is LilyLikeCom, and I also have a TikTok. My TikTok is Lilia. And with that being said, we made it to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk very soon. Bye guys!